Hey, what's up, guys? This is your boy Travis back again here at Big Boy Toy Reviews. And today we are taking a look at another waifu figure. This time we are taking a look, I guess this is the second time, technically-ish. I mean, I guess you'll understand when we get to like the comparisons and stuff, because this is Aileen, but in loungewear. So I did review an Aileen prior to this figure, and it was the bunny version of Aileen. And I guess technically she is still a bunny, but she doesn't have her swimsuit and stuff on. So this is her in loungewear, and as you can see, she has on her like pajama top type t-shirt thing going on here, like the boyfriend tee type thing. And yeah, this was kind of I think they're starting to kind of make these different characters that Snail Shell is doing with these kind of tactical bunny swimsuit lingerie wearing type of waifus. And I think they're trying to build some kind of story with these, but I think they're also trying to kind of do each one as its own character. And I guess, I don't know, is Aileen like the leader or something? Because I think they also are coming out with some other loungewear-ish types of figures, or either that or they're coming out with clothing that can be considered loungewear and you can put them on the other figures. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I feel like just recently there was a Snail Shell that was coming out that was of a different character that also they're doing a loungewear version for. So I could be wrong, but I'm wondering if they're going to start doing that for all of their little rabbit waifu girls. But anyway, this one is Aileen again, and she follows the typical Snail Shell like idea. Now I will say that there are a couple of issues with this one, and you can chalk it up to being it being kind of basically a blank body, but there was a few things I think aesthetically that they maybe should try to stray away from. One glaring thing specifically, and you may have already seen it. Just FYI, I did turn down my exposure, because I've been noticing on my videos, especially with these really like white figures, that they seem to be blown out. And maybe it's just my TV, so I don't know, but they seem to be kind of blown out in the video. So hopefully me turning down the exposure on this one is doing it better justice. We'll have to see after post. The thing is, the processing that YouTube does after you load the video also can mess up the lighting and everything on the video. So I mean, that could be an issue too, and maybe I can't fix that. But hopefully, with me fixing the lighting in the actual video, hopefully YouTube won't over process it when I upload it and mess it up. So we'll see. Anyway, back to the figure. So the biggest glaring issue that I have with this one is the ankles. The ankles are just the ball hinges that they use for the ankles are absolutely gigantic. I mean, look how huge those are. They make her ankles look super fat. So that's the most annoying thing that I have noticed about this figure, is just these ankles are just so super fat. And so that's very off-putting. And you don't typically want, now I will say this, you don't typically want the attention to be drawn to something like this. Now, I will say that if you decide to take this off, which I will show you what she looks like without this on, but your attention will be drawn to other places. So it's a small issue, but it is an issue nonetheless. That ankle joint is just ginormous. But other than that, her little soft goods are done well enough. They're not the best material in the world, but I don't think it needs to be. And as you can see, it says Agent Rabbit. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. And then we talk about the face. So her face is done really nicely. I do like the way that looks. Now we will do a comparison to the original Aileen, I guess when she's in her working uniform, and we'll see what the differences are. But she has the kind of pearlescent shading there in the hair, also in the back, kind of the pearlescent white shading with the pink. So yeah, she does have the movable eye gimmick as well. Now, I guess this isn't articulate. This could be an articulation thing, but I do want to show this because this kind of annoys me. It's the way that these heads pop onto the neck peg. Now, they have gone with this kind of double, or like this, not double, this double ball peg kind of hinge combination thing, and you can get some motion out of it here, but they still use like this kind of slanted kind of hinge there. I don't think that really affects it too much, but the issue is that with the way where they want you to pop the peg in, it's all the way in the back here, so you don't get as much use out of this ball as you should because of the way that they force you to peg it in like this. And so you don't get as much range anymore. You're basically just using it as a ball hinge instead of a double ball peg hinge combination. So you really can't get all you want out of this because of the placement of the actual peg hole. So that is super annoying. I probably should have waited for that until the articulation, but you know, it is what it is. But that's probably the second most annoying thing about this is how they have that ball placement, neck peg placement set up. So, but yeah, other than that, she looks really good. She does look really good. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at her accessories. She doesn't come with a whole lot, so I'm not gonna like switch camera angles or anything like that. We'll just take a look at them right here. So she comes with an extra face, and it's kind of you can do with that what you will. I did kind of move her eyes to make her look like that, and so, but you can see the little eye moving gimmick there. She comes with a kind of like a towel like bunny headband, so like it was a towel that was tied up into bunny ears, and it does have a magnet on it, and it does fit on her head quite nicely. So I don't know if you saw the magnet when I took her hair piece off earlier when I was showing you that neck peg, but yeah, this fits on there quite nicely. And you don't have to worry about it like falling off. Now, if you shake it a lot, you probably can get it to fall off, but this is not really one of those things that you really want to be shaking like that. So that looks really cute on here. She does come with some extra feet. So she does have extra feet if you are a foot person. Now you can see this little snag that I have in my finger right there. That actually happened while trying to pop her head off. Her hair poked me in the finger and actually broke some skin there. So be careful when popping her neck peg or head off because you can hurt yourself. Then she does come with an array of fingers. We got some pointing fingers, some like holding stuff fingers, and just different fingers for different poses. Maybe holding her hair, curling her hair, or twirling her hair or something. However you wanted to use those hands, she does come with enough to do whatever you want. Obviously she has the eye moving gimmick like tool, and then she has her typical stand that Snail Shell usually comes with. I love that they offer this option to you. That's always fantastic. So I do love that about Snail Shell. So anyway, let's go ahead and take off the outfit. You can pop her off pretty easily. That's probably the easiest way to take the. I was trying to pop her head off, but her whole body came off. So here's what she looked like. Here's what she looks like without the shirt on. You can take the top off. I don't think she has any nipples or anything. No, she doesn't have nipples or anything sculpted, but you can take the bra top off if you need to or want to or whatever. So this can come off. It is kind of annoying to put back on because of the arms here, because this tends to get caught in the joints, and I did have trouble getting this one to get back on her shoulder, and it's still not on her shoulder quite right. And it's such a thin piece of plastic that I don't want to break it by trying to stretch it. You can kind of see that it looks like it's kind of cut a little bit, if you can see that. You see that? So I think her joint actually did that when it got stuck in there. So you do need to be really careful with this, because you will break this tiny little strap. And I'm just trying to get it up on her shoulder so when we do this articulation, it doesn't get snagged. But you have to be really, really careful. And I can't use like something sharp, because something sharp will definitely snap this. As you can see, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but there we go. It doesn't like to stay either, so that's another issue that I have found with this figure, just particularly with that shoulder. I can't quite get that to stay up there, which is because they make it removable, you're gonna have that issue. Now you can possibly super glue that and solve that issue, but then you won't be able to remove the top. So anyway, moving on to articulation, she can't really look up because of the hair. Looking down, she can look down quite a bit. Side to side, it's pretty good. It could be better if they use that ball peg the proper way, but instead they turned it into more of a hinge. Shoulders can go way past parallel. She does get that 360 motion. She does kind of have it's not really a butterfly joint, but she can somewhat get across her chest a little bit, so it's not too bad. She does have a bicep swivel right there, double jointed elbows, ball hinge wrist. As you can see that these aren't huge wrist pegs, so I don't know why they had to put huge wrist pegs or huge pegs in the ankles here. As far as the diaphragm, she only has movement there as far as torso articulation, so back that far and then forward just about there. These figures aren't typically known to have a lot of forward movement in the torso for some reason, but the side to side and the back is usually pretty solid. Not quite sure why they refuse to give them front movement. She is double cheeked up. Now these again are not my favorite types of way. This is not my favorite type of way of doing butts like this. I think most of you know I like it when the butt is just one piece built into the leg, instead of like this actually being a piece of the back and then the leg having like the sculpted bottom piece of the butt. This is fine. This is the way Snail Shell does it, but I think the other way is a lot better and it looks smoother. But she is double cheeked up. Splits, she can get the splits pretty decently. Did I say you can kind of get some swivel out of this diaphragm, but not really, unfortunately. You can, if you keep pressing down while you turn, try to keep that keep the ball peg attached. You can get some movement. It starts looking a little awkward at some point though. You can get a little movement out of that, but the way that they sculpted her body, her curve goes up into the diaphragm joint and it's not rounded off. So she doesn't get a whole lot of natural movement in that for a twist. She does get a twist there in the thigh because there's a huge cut. Kicking forward, she can kick forward over a little bit over 90 degrees there. Kicking back, it's not really happening too much because of the cheeks. Double jointed knee. And then these gigantic ankle joints are just obnoxiously large. So there's that. And then you can't get an ankle rocker, basically breaking her ankles, but it's typical snail shell articulation. It's nothing new. It's not fantastic or anything. It's just it's about average for a figure like this nowadays. Maybe even a little bit below average if we consider this diaphragm joint kind of not having a swivel. So you can say that, but these aren't really, I don't think these girls are really meant to be that dynamic. I mean, they're kind of meant to just kind of pose and sit there. So for that, I don't mind the articulation. But anyway, let's go ahead and do some comparisons. Okay, and here she is next to Milk Tea and another smaller snail shell body here. I don't remember this girl's name, but yeah, the Milk Tea has a similar body to Aileen, but you can see the improvements that they've made on this body compared to hers. This was one of the probably first snail shell figures, or at least this was like in the beginning of snail shell bringing out consistent figures. And so she does have some similarities to Aileen, but you can see that they have definitely improved on the elbows, the elbow joint for sure. They improved on, believe it or not, they have improved on their hip joints as well. But yeah, you can kind of see the evolution here from this older body to this newer body that they use, and it's a little bit taller. So, but yeah, that's what she looks like with these two. And here she is next to the Keep Going Studios Sengoku. And then we have Good Smiles Gridman Rika. I believe that's what her name is. And you can kind of see what she looks like next to these two. We got some first party and third party figures here. And I think the Sengoku, the Keep Going Studio body is probably a good comparison to this. They do share a lot of kind of like the same design ideologies here, especially when it comes to the shoulder and elbow joints, probably even somewhat in the knee joints too. But yeah, that's what she looks like with these two. Okay, and here she is next to, I believe was it Hit Toys? I think they were calling her Nika, but obviously this is just Boma in a different universe. And then we have I'm not gonna say it, but this here is definitely top 10, one of the top 10 figures of the year. I'm not gonna say she's the best figure of the year. I have to definitely go through all of my figures. But actually I need to go through all of my reviews, to be honest with you. But she is definitely in my top 10. This is Quinn Lee from X Kokan Studio. And it's just an awesome figure. It is such a good freaking figure. But yeah, that's what she looks like with these two. Here she is next to the SH Figuarts Band of Hawks Guts and the Revel Tech Himiko Toga from My Hero Academia and Berserk. So here's what she looks like with some other first party figures. And finally, here she is next to herself. So this is Aileen in her work attire, I guess you can say. And you can see they do have some similarities in looks. Like if we zoom in a little bit here, especially in the hair region, you can kind of see they do have some similarities there. But you can argue that obviously hairstyles can change. Obviously, she can have more shading or dye in the front there. The lips they look a little fuller here on the first version. This one has kind of like a red nose, but you can argue that she has a cold, maybe, since she is naked, but she kind of has a little red in her nose. The eyes are basically the same. You can see there. The faces, her face looks a little more narrow in the original version, like the first version. Like her face doesn't quite look as cheeky, like she might be almost as if she's a little bit younger in this version than this one. But other than that, I think they look pretty good together. I mean, this could easily just be her sister though at the same time. Like, I don't think they look enough alike to think that this is the exact same person, but women tend to be able to change their faces quite easily when it comes to makeup. So you can just say she's more made up here than she is here, which makes more sense. Obviously, she would be just chilling at home in this kind of bra and underwear type deal she has going on. So, you know, but yeah, I think that's it for comparisons. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. All right, so to wrap this up, yeah, she is a basic figure from Snail Shell. I mean, if you like Snail Shell already, you won't be disappointed by this chick. Another waifu for the waifu shelf. That's just pretty much how I look at it. And yeah, I think if you already got an Aileen, you don't really need this one, to be honest with you. But I mean, if you're stacking up that waifu shelf, you might as well snatch her up. I'm pretty sure she's probably still available in most places. So yeah, she is a cutie pie, and I'll say this, I like her for my collection. But anyway, that is it for the review. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.